Welcome to the True Assassins podcast. Okay, so today we're diving into some seriously messed up tales. And let me tell you, these stories are not for the faint of heart. Inspired by the dark world of murder, hitmen, and assassins, and straight from Orlando Madsbrine's True Kill, these are the kinds of stories that'll keep you up at night.
The ones that make you double-check your luck.
Exactly. And we've got a whole stack of listener submissions to dig through today, all exploring what happens when the world of professional killing crashes headfirst into the supernatural.
Because, let's face it, things get a whole lot more complicated when your targets aren't playing by the rules of reality.
You said it. So think about it. What happens when meticulously honed skills and cold-blooded planning meet forces that defy human comprehension?
That's what we're going to find out. Buckle up.
Our first story, Marked for Eternity, starts out pretty classic, almost like a textbook hit. We've got a corrupt politician.
You know the type.
Oh, yeah, we all know the type.
Yeah.
And there's a huge contract out on his head, the kind of money that makes you forget your morals.
The kind of money that makes you question everything.
Right. And the sources we have, they really go into detail about the assassin's prep work. It's meticulous, precise, almost surgical. There's no hesitation, no remorse, just a focus on getting the job done.
That initial detachment, that almost clinical approach, that's crucial here. It sets a baseline, a sense of control, a normalcy that makes everything that follows even more disturbing.
Yeah, and the source material actually highlights some pretty specific details that really stick with you. Like, there's mention of the money being obscene, the politician having this champagne smile, but these predatory eyes. And the assassin himself, he describes feeling like a predator among preening sheep.
It paints a vivid picture, right?
Yes, it does. Sets the stage for a seriously dark turn of events.
Because this is where the predictable hits a wall and the supernatural comes crashing in.
So this hit, it goes down at a fancy gala, right? Everything's going according to plan. And then, bam, this cloaked figure shows up. And suddenly, the payment isn't money anymore. This assassin has unknowingly sold his soul to a demon.
Just like that.
It's just like that. And what's really chilling in the source material is the way it describes this overwhelming certainty that grips the assassin. All that professional detachment, gone. He knows deep down that he's in way over his head.
It's a violation of the natural order, a breach of the contract between a hitman and his target.
Exactly. And what follows is a nightmare, a never-ending cycle of death and rebirth. Every time he completes the hit, he dies. But then he wakes up, again and again, trapped in this macabre game orchestrated by the demon.
And these sources detail all these desperate attempts to break free. The guy tries everything, fleeing, suicide, even getting super creative with his assassination methods.
Oh, yeah. It's like he's trying every trick in the book, every tool of his trade. We're talking blades, explosions, poisons, even engineering a fall.
But nothing works.
Nothing. Each attempt just ends with him waking up again, right back in that same hell. It really underscores the inescapable nature of this demonic contract. You can't cheat death, especially when it's being puppeteered by something beyond our understanding.
What's even more disturbing is how his mindset starts to shift. We see him go from this skilled, calculating professional to a pawn, a plaything in this demon's twisted game.
Right. And the narrative takes this turn as his desperation grows. He's no longer just focused on escaping. He's lashing out, almost like he wants to take the whole city down with him. The source material describes him turning into this force of chaos, collapsing buildings, setting booby traps everywhere. He becomes an urban legend, a whisper in dark alleys. It's a far cry from the cold, efficient killer we saw at the beginning.
It's like the eternal torment is warping him and turning him into something monstrous. But even in that descent, there's this flicker of something else.
A change in tactics.
Exactly.
Instead of these huge, destructive acts, he starts orchestrating these quiet, almost peaceful deaths. No more spectacle, no more feeding the demon's twisted desires.
There's a mention of poison slipped into wine, a meticulously engineered wasting disease, even faking a natural death from old age. It's subtle, but it's a huge shift.
It's like he's taking back a sliver of control, denying the demon the satisfaction of a gruesome show. It makes you think about the power of even the smallest acts of defiance, even when you're facing something that seems utterly insurmountable.
Even in hell, it seems, there's room for a little bit of rebellion.
And that's Marked for Eternity. Now, let's shift gears to something a bit more, well, bone-chilling, literally.
Clashing blades.
Lashing blades.
Yes.
This story pits an assassin against, well, an army of the dead.
Controlled by a necromancer.
Right, a necromancer. And the sources here, they really hit you with the atmosphere right away. It's all stench of decay, this feeling of something fundamentally wrong. And the assassin even describes feeling this different kind of unease, like the target itself is a violation of the natural order.
It's a whole different kind of threat. You're not dealing with a living, breathing target anymore. It's something that's been twisted, brought back in a way that just feels wrong.
And the first encounter, it makes it clear just how dangerous this is. These aren't your typical mindless zombies. These corpses, they move with this chilling focus like echoes of their former skills.
There's a specific mention of a swordsman still wielding his blade with deadly precision and a skeletal archer firing arrows tipped with bone from its own ribcage.
Grim.
Seriously grim.
It shows you the kind of twisted creativity the necromancer is working with and the challenges the assassin has to adapt to. You can't exactly go for the heart or the head when you're fighting something that's already dead.
It forces him to think outside the box, and the sources really highlight his resourcefulness.
Oh, absolutely. Fire becomes a major weapon, a way to really put these things down for good. And then there are the trap's pits filled with spikes, alchemical concoctions. It's like he's turning the environment into a weapon.
Which is smart because the necromancer seems to be learning too. Every encounter, it's like he's adapting, refining his control over the dead. It becomes this deadly game of cat and mouse with the stakes constantly rising.
And it all culminates in this final showdown in the necromancer's lair, this profane sanctum, as the sources call it. The assassin is facing wave after wave of skeletal attackers. It's described as pure desperation, fueled by this disgust at the desecration of death itself.
There's this clear moral line for the assassin. This isn't just a job anymore. It's personal, a fight against something he sees as fundamentally wrong.
But here's the thing. In the middle of all this chaos, he spots a pattern in the attacks, a sign that maybe the necromancer is getting a little too confident, a little too focused on controlling his army. And that's when he sees his opening.
He doesn't go for the kill. Not directly.
No. He targets the necromancer's hand, the source of his power over the dead. And the sources describe it as this instant, gruesome collapse. The entire horde, they just fall apart, movements turning into these jerky twitches. It's like cutting the strings on a puppet.
Brilliantly tactical. Instead of brute force, he finds the weak point, the linchpin, and exploits it.
And the victory, it's described as brutal, fueled by this primal disgust. It's a far cry from the clean, efficient kills he's known for.
But this wasn't a clean fight. This was survival against something that shouldn't exist.
And even after it's over, the assassin is haunted. His dreams are filled with these images, rotting flesh, those chilling, focused eyes. The psychological scars run deep.
Because how do you just walk away from something like that? How do you go back to normal when you've faced the perversion of death itself?
So two very different stories, both born from the world of true kill.
Marked for Eternity shows us the ultimate loss of control.
And the surprising ways in which an individual can still find a measure of defiance, even when faced with eternal torment.
It makes you think about the limits of free will, the power of choice, even in the face of seemingly absolute power.
Clashing Blades, on the other hand, throws us headfirst into the disruption of the natural order.
What happens when death itself is no longer the end?
And the challenges of facing an enemy that twists the very essence of what it means to be alive. It pushes us to think about the boundaries of skill, the psychological impact of confronting the unnatural.
Both stories, they highlight the adaptability, the resilience, and maybe even the humanity, however twisted, that can exist within those who walk the darkest paths.
And they remind us that even in the shadows, the unexpected can lurk around every corner.
And that the price of a contract, well, can go far beyond money, sometimes even beyond life itself.
Thank you for joining us on the True Assassins podcast. For more addictive Cloak and Dagger stories, don't forget to rate and follow. Until next time, keep your wits sharp, your blades sharper, and always be wary of the shadows. They might be hiding something far more terrifying than you can imagine.